Hello student. In the revision video of the chapter 3rd economics, today we will discuss about the poverty as challenge. We see poverty all around us. In our daily life, we come across many people who we think are poor. They could be landless labor in villages or people living in overcrowded slums area in the cities. And they could be daily wages worker or the child laborers. In fact, every fourth person in India is poor. So, poverty means hunger and lack of shelter. It is a situation in which parents are not able to send their children to school, or a situation when sick people cannot afford treatment. Poverty also means lack of clean water and the sanitation facilities. Different kinds of indicators are used by social scientists to understand poverty. The most commonly used indicator associated with the level of income of people and their consumptions of the goods. And the concept of the social exclusion describes that poor people live in poor surrounding and that excluded from neighborhood of people who are living in better area means who are better off. A common method that's used to measure poverty is based on the income or the consumption level. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level and that is necessary to fulfill the basic needs. Poverty line may vary means different with time and a place because to satisfy basic needs is different at different times and in different countries. While determining the poverty line in India, a minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel, and light, educational and medical requirements are determined for substances. The poverty line is estimated periodically and by conducting sample survey which are carried out by the National Sample Survey Organizations. There is also the international poverty line which means minimum availability of equal to $1.90 per person per day and the percentage of poor people in rural area is higher than in urban areas. Vulnerability to poverty is analyzed on the basis of the greater risk and these group faces at a time of natural disaster like the earthquake and the tsunami and the terrorism also. Vulnerability describes the greater probability of being more adversely affected than the other people when bad times comes for everybody, whether a flood or an earthquake or simply a fall in the availability of the jobs. And the proportion of the poor people is not the same all over the country. Poverty is still a serious problem in Odisha, Bihar, Assam, Tripura and Uttar Pradesh. And Odisha and Bihar continue to be the two poorest states with the highest poverty ratio. And along with rural poverty, urban poverty is also high in Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. And to make comparison between developing countries, the World Bank uses a uniform standard for the poverty line and a minimum availability of equal to $1.90 per person per day. And poverty has declined in most regions of the world. The Millennium Development Goals of the United Nations call for a reduction in the proportion of people living on less than $1.90 a day to half of its 1919 figure by 2015. Poverty in India is widespread because of a variety of reasons. Historical reason, the policy of the colonial government that ruined traditional handicrafts and the discouraged development of the industries like textiles and a huge income inequalities. And the third one is lack of job opportunities. Removal of poverty has been one of the major objectives of Indian development strategy. The government has started several anti-poverty strategies which are based on the two planks. Till early 80s, there were too little growth of per capita income and that was not too much. That was necessary to reduction in the poverty. Several anti-poverty programs like the Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, Rural Employment Guarantee Program, Swan Jayanti Gram Savirozgar Yojana and the Pradhan Mantri Gram Udyog Yojana which are aimed at generating self-employment opportunity in rural areas. Under targeted anti-poverty programs, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act (MNREGA) and the National Food for Work Program, Rural Employment Generation Program have been launched. And poverty has certainly declined in India. But despite the progress, poverty reduction remains India's most compelling challenge.